Welcome to another edition of Cool Cars, Interesting People. Clear skies, the sun is shining. That could only mean one thing: baseball season. That's why we're going to talk to General Manager of the Lethbridge Bulls. It's Kevin Kvame. So we'll have a chat with him. And our cool car, it's a 2016 Subaru Crosstrek. Let's bring in Joe Kadezabek from Subaru of Lethbridge. Joe, you're tall.
Hello, Mark. How are you today?
I'm good, thanks. Now, this one right here, this is a very unique car in the market. Tell us why it's so unique.
Well, we think it's one of the best small SUVs that you can buy. It gets great mileage. It has Subaru's legendary all-wheel drive system, and it's a great car to look at. It's got some spectacular colors, and everybody who's owned one has always loved it for the handling, the way it moves both things and people very efficiently.
So, talk for someone who doesn't understand, what does the all-wheel drive mean?
The all-wheel drive means that all four wheels are always getting power, significant amounts of power from the engine. And the vehicle, it's significant that it's a full-time all-wheel drive, so it doesn't have to react to slippage on the road. So if, for instance, a lot of our competitors, one of the wheels has to spin before the other wheels engage. Right. Our wheels are always engaged, so it's closer to a four-wheel drive. Yeah. And yet, unlike a four-wheel drive, you can drive it at high speeds and around corners and not be inhibited by that. Very cool.
Now, can you get this car with one of those dogs that has a broken leg that chases after sheep?
That would take special consideration from the president of Subaru.
We'll put that on hold for now. In the meantime, let's go find Kevin Kvame over at the ballpark. All right, here in the Bulls office, looking for Kevin Kvame, and there he is. Kvame, whoa, Kvame. Oh, is that, how do you like that song?
Wow.
All right, we won't do that. How about take me out to the ball game? Okay, I'll tell you what, let's go for coffee, all right?
Sounds
You
good.
ready to do this? Okay. I see you're a New York Yankee fan.
Yankees, Blue Jays, you know.
Yeah, what happened? How did that happen? Okie dokie. Hey, this would be a perfect day for baseball today, too, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah?
It's been quite the spring so far.
Yeah, no kidding. I have a 2016 Subaru.
Awesome.
How do you like it? All right.
Very nice.
All right. It's blue, just like your eyes. Okay. Let's see if I can open it up for you. There we go.
I'll make sure the features work. That's cool.
Yeah, it is. All right.
All right.
Here we go. Okay.
So do you do a different vehicle every week?
Every week.
Yeah.
Something new, yeah. This goes back here, one of those things. So I look right beside us here as we go by Henderson Stadium, or Spitz Stadium as it is, and I just think, man, a lot of history in that building, or in that field.
Yeah, it was built in, the grandstand was built there in 1975, but the field's been here since the 1920s.
The field has, yeah. Because, 1975, that was when the Lethbridge Expos came to town.
Yep.
And I'm happy to say that I filled in reporting on the Lethbridge Expos games when it was a Pioneer Baseball League. And of course, the man that's coming back to town, Andre Dawson, was pitching, or was not pitching, was playing that year.
It was roaming the outfield in Henderson Stadium of that year, yeah.
And so he's coming back for one of your
It's a Legends of Sport Gala in a couple weeks.
How cool is that?
It's going to be awesome to have him back in town. You know, I think Lethbridge has changed tremendously. It's going to be interesting to get his view of Lethbridge.
We've got a skate park now.
Yeah. Well, one of his memories of Lethbridge is a meat processing plant on the north side that had an odor drift over Henderson Stadium.
Oh my gosh, when the northeast winds were blowing. Oh, that's right. So that's, and of course, he's a guy who's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
You think of all of, and then in years later with the Lethbridge Dodgers when they came to town, and they had Steve Sachs, and they had Mike Marshall, a number of guys who made it in the big league, the Dodgers, and won World Series. So it's amazing there. And of course, then the Lethbridge Bulls win a championship last year. How good is that? What?
Yeah, that was a very special year.
Yeah. No, well, just getting back to Andre Dawson. What kind of what made you decide on him? Well, I guess it's pretty obvious. And,
well, and you look at what you'd like to do, and you talk legends of sport.
Yeah.
I mean, we want to have somebody that's tied to Lethbridge this year. Was our thoughts, because we're gonna honor the Lethbridge Expos, and
Nice.
when Henderson Stadium, Spitz Stadium gets its remodeling here in the next few months, we're gonna tie the history to it as well.
Good.
So the Lethbridge Expos were the first professional club to play at the stadium, and we're gonna recognize them at the gala this year, and it's going to be great to have Andre Dawson to help celebrate that history.
That's great. I mean, and even for any historians or anyone who's a long-time baseball fan, Southern Alberta had amazing baseball over the years, and there's a real rich tradition of some legends too, right?
Yes, there is.
Yeah. Anyone come to mind for you?
Well, Andre Dawson obviously is the one, and then even Buck Showalter comes to mind in the 90s with the Diamondbacks organization, and he went on to do great things. Even Tommy Lasorda, I remember him visiting Lethbridge and featured in the newspaper with the Dodgers organization and that. So yeah, we have a huge baseball history here in the city and around Southern Alberta.
Oh yeah, and like you even go way back, and I'm thinking about Steve Schott. Steve Schott used to run the Oakland A's, and he played some semi-professional ball. I think it was in Vauxhall or somewhere in Southern Alberta. Yeah. He has close ties to Gary Kirk.
Yeah,
they were good friends. And Gary Kirk, of course, he's well known in Southern Alberta. But baseball was such a huge thing back in the 30s, 40s, and 50s.
Yeah,
fantastic. And then it just continues on.
Well, of course, Glenn Gorbis from Vulcan.
Oh, the guy
he has the record for the longest throw in baseball history or something. That goes back a long time, and the old days gone by, Pat Gillick and those type of guys played in the old Alberta Senior Men's League or Senior Baseball League, not men.
Yeah. And then, of course, last year you had guys like Jesse Barfield was in town, right?
Yeah, we had Jesse Barfield and Dwayne Ward from Blue Jays days, and they, Dwayne won World Series with the Jays back in there, and it's great to see them back on the rise because it has a huge impact for baseball across the country. The numbers in minor baseball when the Jays are successful, you see an influx, and it's strictly due to the success of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah, and me being a huge Montreal Expo fan over the years, of course, and to see them play in the Big O, it would be so nice to have another team in Montreal.
Yeah, I've been to the Big O over the years, and I remember being there with 5,000 people in the stands in the 90s. It's so sad. Yeah. And then you look at the Blue Jays going in there for the last 2 years on 2 weekends, and 106,000 people in 2 games both years are in there, and just tremendous.
So have you been a baseball fan like before you even knew you were going to be involved with this whole baseball business, or?
I've been involved since I was young, and
Did you play baseball?
Played baseball. I grew up in Fort McLeod, so
I've heard of it.
Yep. That's good.
And then what led you to the president and general manager of the Bulls?
Well, I guess the passion of the game and always being involved, and I got to give credit there to Doug Jones when the Black Diamonds left us here in 1998 in Lethbridge and left a huge baseball void.
Yeah.
The city of Lethbridge, in their wisdom, reached out to some people, and Doug Jones was one of them, and he had the foresight to say, hey, we can make something big of this, and put a Lethbridge franchise in the WNBL, which was then the Saskatchewan Major Baseball League.
Right.
And so I was fortunate enough that he took me on a ride one winter evening after a Lethbridge Pronghorns hockey game that his son was playing for the Pronghorns, and
so
we had to
how much did you have to drink that night?
I didn't have much to drink. Had to help the driving and stuff, so we were okay. We're not drinking and driving.
All right, good. All right.
So we had to do this venture out to Melville.
Oh, wow.
If you want to know the funny part about it, we actually, Doug, if you've known him ever, he has a lot on the go usually, and so we were off to this Saskatchewan meeting, and in his words, in Assiniboia.
Assiniboia.
which is south of Moose Jaw, somewhere down by the border.
Yeah.
And so to get to Assiniboia, you make a right turn onto a highway there at Gull Lake.
Oh gosh, yes, I know. I knew a guy from Gully.
Yeah.
I think he's still there.
So you go 30 miles down the road, and he says, "Well, we're going to get there about 4 in the morning. We should maybe call ahead and get a room at the Waverly Inn." And so we go down the highway. I get on the cell phone, which in 1999 the cell phones were not like they are nowadays. But anyways, we get it hooked up, and there's no Waverly Inn in Assiniboia. No, there's not. I said, "Well, Doug, there's no Waverly Inn. Is it a different name or something?" And he says, "No, I'm pretty sure that's where it is." And I said, "Yeah, is there a nearby community?" She says, "Well, the only Waverly Inn I see is in Melville, Saskatchewan." And I say, "Well," I tell that to Doug, and he said, "Oh, Melville, that's where the meeting is." So we have to do a 180, and we're 40 miles down the highway and have to turn around and go back to Gull Lake to catch the... Now, fortunately, we got there in time for the meeting, and Lethbridge was granted an expansion team in the league.
Well, the good news is it's such a scenic drive through Saskatchewan, right?
In the middle of a winter evening at 1 o'clock in the morning.
That's right. Wow. So the state of the league right now, I know there's a couple of teams that have struggled over the last little while. Where are we at right now with the league?
The league is in pretty solid shape right now. We have 12 teams.
Good.
Expanded this year. Fort McMurray was granted an expansion franchise.
A long drive. Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing it once. We're getting it out of the way. First game of the year.
Good? Oh, good. Yeah.
So we get they get to see the defending champs in their park for their first ever home opener, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful stadium. Like Fort McMurray has spent millions and millions of dollars on sports facilities up there. I got to tour it in November, and we had the WNBL was represented there, and they had a dinner, and they had Kevin Pillar and Chris Calbella from the Jays there, so I got to visit with them. It was a great day, and see these sports facilities, and my mouth just dropped.
Yeah. Of course, everyone that lives there has nothing to do now anyway, so they may as well go to the ball game. Right?
Exactly. I mean, with all the money they're not making now, the ball game is going to be pretty cheap compared to flying to Vegas for the weekend like they used to do. So.
Well, that's good. No, that's gonna be a bit of a challenge for Fort McMurray though, with the kind of traveling, because they're gonna have to travel everywhere they go, right?
Yeah, they'll do it in road trips. So once they get on the road, it's not going to be too bad.
Yeah. All right. We're at Cora's. Are you ready? Let's do this.
Always ready for chorus.
All right. Have that chair there. Do you know Cora?
Haven't met her yet.
No,
met Lori, but haven't met Cora.
No. Are you? You're not Cora, are you?
Not this week.
New one every week.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Cheers.
Carry on.
Enjoy your stay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good. All right, so the baseball business. Has it been good to you?
It's been very enjoyable over the years, yeah.
Like how many years have you been president and GM
now? General manager since 2002. Took the president's title in 2007.
So what kind of perks do you get for that? Being the president?
Long hours. Get to make all the tough decisions.
Yeah. Because it's a thankless role, isn't it? In a lot of ways.
It's a fun role.
It is fun.
I'm not gonna say thankless. That's
I mean, you do put in a lot of time, though.
Yeah, when you see the people at the park having a good time, and the players that we've had over years have been great for the organization and community, and so definitely I think it's rewarding. Yeah,
I mean, in the beginning, especially when you think about the success of the Pioneer Baseball League and the fact that so many of those guys went on to the majors, and then you go to the this particular format. Not a lot of guys make it to the big leagues. They're kind of at would you say they're kind of at the end of their attempts to make it to the big leagues?
Yeah, I think that the big leaguers they're looking for certain tools.
Yeah.
So our players in that, a lot of them have those tools and are very close to being able to make it to the big leagues, but are just don't have all the things that they're looking for. Mm-hmm. But they've made a very good decision to play college baseball.
Right.
And are getting a great education from
Yeah.
playing college baseball, and this keeps them going in the summer. Now we have we've had quite a few players drafted over the years,
Sure.
and that in our in the Bulls organization, so that's been rewarding. And we're close to seeing guys in the big leagues. I mean, we talked a little bit about the Blue Jays series against the Red Sox last weekend at Montreal. He didn't play for the Bulls, but he played for Prairie Baseball Academy.
Yeah.
Shane Dawson was
Fantastic.
on the mound.
Okay, and he had a great first inning.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about the second one.
Exactly.
But and he got to meet his hero Pedro Martinez, which I
Yeah.
understand. Yeah, so that's really cool. So I mean, in the beginning though, would that have been a challenge to get fans out, because you're saying, well, who are these guys? Because where are they going? What's the mindset of a
Well,
fan?
you had two difficulties right off the bat. First of all, the Black Diamonds left,
Yeah.
and the way they left. It was
Yeah.
not smooth. It was sudden,
Right.
and it was unexpected for this
Right.
community.
Right.
So that was unfortunate. You immediately threw your fan base off the cliff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Secondly, you had the situation where the fans didn't relate to the Saskatchewan Major Baseball
Yeah.
League.
Yeah. And that's
That was
hard.
what it was identified with at the time, and what type of baseball it was. They were allowing 39-year-olds to play in the league at that point. So the league had to go through an evolution to first of all attract expansion franchises, define what they were, and that all happened over the next 4 or 5 years when the league decided to rename it the Western Major Baseball League,
Right.
expand into more communities in Alberta, and define itself as summer college to go along with the Cape Cod League, the Northwoods League, or the West Coast League. So now you have what you're promoting. We were promoting summer college baseball, and it took off from there. I mean, the attendance in 2011 was 550, and in 2015 it was 1,101 per
Yeah,
game.
great. I mean, and the level of competition and skill has proven over the years that, hey, you're pretty darn good baseball.
Yeah, you're going to have a lot of talented ball players here that are more refined than even Pioneer League ball players
absolutely.
were back in the day. They were young
Sure.
prospects.
Exactly.
They had that one tool that they were looking for, but they still had a lot to learn about the game. Here, these players are probably more refined than
Yep.
even rookie league.
Well,
ball
I
players
remember
were.
a couple of games in the old Prairie Baseball League where there was like 42 walks in the game, and you're just like, oh my God, when is this game going to end? Oh, and you couldn't even get a beer back then. But so now you've got a league, you've got established league, and you win a championship last year. Wow, how cool is that?
Well, it took us long enough.
Yeah. You were close. You've always been close.
We've never missed the playoffs
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah.
So we're 17 for 17 in the
Yeah.
playoffs, and been close.
Yeah.
But just
But
never,
to finally make
to
it.
finally win
yeah.
it was kind of relief, I guess,
Yeah.
in some capacities, and exhilarating in others.
Yeah.
I mean, we had issues in the playoffs with players getting hurt and losing players and stuff. But that team, they had a, I said it. One of them said it when we introduced the boomstick last May at the park, and they said it's like unfinished business kind of became the motto.
Yeah.
They were the previous year they were the President's Cup winners in
Yeah.
2014, best record in the league, and lost a heartbreaking 5-game series, tough fought 5-game series to Okotoks.
Stupid Okotoks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they felt that something just didn't fit there, and they felt it was unfinished.
Yeah.
So that was their motto going in, and they lived up to it. They wanted to finish it that year, and they got in the playoffs, and even through adversity and injuries, and a couple players lost to family issues and things like
Yeah.
that. They went undefeated in the playoffs.
Fantastic.
9-0.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
It's just like your son, right? That for you, would that be fair to say that this is your kid?
Yeah.
These are your kids winning it all.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you're pretty proud.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was a special 2 weeks there in August to
Yeah.
see the wins, and they just kept coming.
And a tribute to the fans that kept on coming to see this too.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, we've had some great fans over the years, and we feel it's we haven't even got the market tapped yet. I mean, there's so many people that haven't experienced baseball here in Lethbridge and seen what it's about, and I think that there's so many options to do in Lethbridge. We hope that people continue to take them all in.
Even if you just want a hot dog, come out.
Well, come on and have some fun. I mean,
exactly. Yeah.
The Davis patio there at the stadium is an awesome place. I don't know how much they actually watch the game when they're out there visiting with friends and having a few pops and things like that. It's definitely a cool place to assemble and visit with some customers or your staff, and it's a nice place. That's all improved over the last 15 years.
Yeah. You know, when I talk about the Bulls, I can't help but talk about December of this year will be 5 years since the terrible tragedy just outside of Claire's home. The two players, 2-year guys, getting murdered. I can't imagine that phone call that you got that night. And I know you've talked lots about this, but you know, it must have been horrible.
Yeah, it was a surreal day. I always refer to it as a surreal day because the boys left the house at 1 o'clock in the morning after celebrating Tanner's birthday that night, and they were heading to Calgary to the airport to catch a flight home, and the girls had not been drinking that night, so they could do the shuttle, and this basically young person that basically got into a jealous rage over nothing probably, and decided to do what he did, and the next morning you started to hear something happen in Claire's home, and sent a couple texts, and you don't get responses, and start to think about it, and then you know, of course, Coach Hubka was close to them through the Prairie Baseball Academy, and I said to him, is it possible that they were involved in something in Claire's home? And anyways, as the day went on, then stories started to come out, and then we found out it was true, and it was a devastating day.
2 kids from your organization and a girlfriend, and all lost their lives in a horrific murder. I mean, how do you deal with it? I mean, it would be something I would think that you almost think about every day.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I think the way it happened was more devastating than anything. Like, what could you have done to prevent this? This was something that should never have happened. I mean, there's accidents that happen, and you know, I don't want to minimize accidents, and there definitely is sad, but this seemed to be so preventable that some sign or something should have been known to prevent such a tragedy. And you do think about it a lot. I mean, you know, just 2 days ago would have been Mitch's 25th birthday. Yeah. And it was you think about it that day, and you know what could have been, and if they were still around.
And you think about you know, if there's a positive, just the way the community and the team rallied around the tragedy. What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, the entire baseball community came together, and you know, the college as well. They had that, and then Tabitha Steppel was in. You know, she was unfortunately a victim as well, and then we also had Shayna, who ended up kind of being the miracle of the whole thing, being able to survive, and got to see her about a month ago here, and she's doing good, and plans on going to UPI and take a nursing degree, I believe, and that's at least there's something positive to bring out of it.
And you went to the funeral in PEI as well for the 2 boys, right?
Yeah.
What was that experience like? It's kind of a dumb question. What's it like? I mean, it's a horrible experience. It must have been awful.
I mean, you had to be there. I mean, you had to go, and you had to be part of that. What they were going through out there, to try to help, to kind of, I don't know, help is the right word, but you know, to be part of bringing the PEI family and the Alberta family together, because it happened so far away from their homes, and you know, right around Christmas too. I mean,
unbelievable.
And Tanner's funeral was 23rd of December. You know, we flew back from there. I think it was Christmas Eve, so it was sad. But
the memory continues at the ball field, right? For you guys, you continue with the Memorial Games.
Yeah, we're doing a little bit different this year. We're doing a benefit game with the Vauxhall Jets, who was one of the 3 teams the boys played on out here. Tanner actually played with them, and Mitch wasn't really that involved, but he did go out and do some camps and stuff. But the Jets are playing the Bulls on a traditional exhibition game that we've done for years on the 25th of May, and we're also doing a kids camp that night.
Nice.
So Little League, I believe, is shutting down for that day in a lot of areas, and going to let the kids come to the camp and the game, and there'll be lots of kids activities on the field, and all the proceeds raised are going to go into the Memorial Fund.
Fantastic.
So that's kind of what we're doing there, and then we've realigned the Memorial game itself, which is important to their teammates and their friends from out here. So we do a memorial game every year, and before it used to be that same Wednesday in May before the Jets Bulls game, but this year we're doing it on the 25th of June, which is a Saturday, figuring that that more people would like to come to that on a weekend when they can get away from work.
Sure.
And stuff. So we're going to do that in the afternoon. We're going to have a Bulls alumni home run derby at 1 o'clock that day, the alumni game, and then the Bulls are playing the other expansion team from Brooks that night at 7 o'clock in a regular season WNBL game.
Perfect. Right, looking ahead to this season, can you repeat?
Definitely.
Oh, good. Whoa. You heard it here, folks. You got the talent again?
Oh yeah, we obviously every year there's dynamics that have to come into play for you to win. Those dynamics were there last year, so we have experience on our side now. We have a good, talented group of returnees that have won, that are going to bring in that same winning mentality, the desire to win. And we think that the recruits that we are bringing in are going to be a great addition as well.
How about what do the Americans think of coming up here? The kids.
Oh, they love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of them have never been outside the United States.
Yeah.
They get a different view of Canada.
Yeah.
They enjoy their experience. Lethbridge is a fun community to be in the summer. It's a fun community to be in year round. And you know, the parents that come up and visit for a number of games all have great memories of Lethbridge and their college students' experience with the Lethbridge Bulls.
Yeah. Fantastic. All right, what are some of the dates we got to keep in mind here that are coming up for the Bulls?
Well, obviously,
opening day.
April 22nd. Let's start with.
All right, sure. And
that's the Legends of Sport.
Legends of Sport.
Andre Dawson.
Andre Dawson and the Spaceman's coming too, right?
Bill Spaceman Lee's and the Canadian Hall of Famer in Major League Baseball's Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, Ferguson Jenkins.
Oh, yikes! It doesn't get any better than that.
It's going to be a great Friday, April 22nd at the Lodge. Hoping to pack the place. Still a lot of tickets available, but you know how Lethbridge is like. Let's buy the ticket. That event's in an hour. Let's buy the ticket.
Don't worry about it. We'll get it.
Exactly.
So you get that one, and then after that, a home opener.
We got the 25th of May, which is the benefit game and the kids camp. It's our only exhibition game. 27th of May, the Bulls will be back on the field for their first regular season game. They're doing the jaunt to Fort McMurray, as we mentioned.
Bring a lunch.
Or two.
Right.
Coming home for the 3rd of June. Going to raise the championship banner.
Oh, nice.
Maybe hand out some rings.
Yep.
Play a ball game.
And these rings aren't coming out of a cereal box, right?
We haven't decided yet. I think that'd be pretty nice.
So it's take me out to the ball game. All right, we won't finish that. Thank you very much, Kevin Kvame. Cheers. All right.
Great, Mark.